Okay, today I'm going to talk about breathing, how I learned how to breathe, the importance of breathing, um, how I apply my daily breathing exercises into my playing, and more. I'd like to start off by saying I've tried a lot of different things for breathing, like a airbag, balloon, and just normal breathing with nothing. And I've used this pipe and this PVC I found to be the most effective for breathing. So what I like about this is that you can close the hole, and that's to increase resistance, and you can open it up all the way. Another benefit is that when you have it there, it's kind of getting you used to the feeling of being open when you breathe, which is really important because when you breathe, you want to have no tension anywhere. You just want to expand your belly, your diaphragm. You just want to expand it, and you just want that to be as consistent and as smooth and second nature. So you need to train that because most of us don't really breathe correctly, or I feel like we get out of the habit of breathing correctly because we just don't do it every day or whatever the case may be. So I like to start off, I have my metronome somewhere near 100, maybe a little higher depending on how I feel that day. I also like to stretch while I'm breathing, but I won't do that now. So we'll start off half closed. And I like to start with doing 8 counts in, 8 counts out. And I'll do that a couple times. 8 counts in, 4 counts out, 8 counts in, 2 counts out. And I'll do each one of those a couple times. Then I'll go the opposite direction. So I'll do 6 counts in, 8 counts out, etc. 4 counts in, 8 counts out, 2 counts in, 1 count in, half a count, etc. until I feel like it's all really consistent. Sometimes I skip a few because I feel like I can do it pretty well, but just for the basis, it's good to do them every day when you're learning how to breathe. So the goal for me is to truly inhale for 8 counts. So what I like to do is exhale all my air before I start, then inhale as consistently as I can throughout 8 counts, and then exhale as consistently as I can for 8 counts. And I try to do that no matter how many clicks I'm going in and how many clicks I'm going out. It can be 2 and 20. I just want to get it consistently. And the better you get at it, the easier it will be to do longer phrases or shorter intakes, longer exhales, shorter exhales for your air. And that's really important when learning how to breathe. So I'll try a harder one. I'll try 4 and 12. So there, I feel like I only got, I didn't get all the way in. I only really got 3 counts in because I feel like I started taking too much air in at the beginning, but I feel like I got the exhale really well. And how do I apply this with my playing? Well, I like to start same tempo, pick up the horn and just do long tones on a concert F. I like to do that and switch the register that I'm at because you never know what register you'll be playing in that day, and at least for your warm-up. So I try to get a good base of all the notes. And I try to do that until I feel like I'm getting it correctly. And maybe at first it's going to be difficult, but it's important to find what works for you. Maybe you need a slower or a faster tempo, and maybe you just need to practice it with just the breathing tube or the PVC, whatever you want to call it, for a while. But it's important for you to find your consistent in rate and out rate between all the counts that you're taking and in and out, because it really applies for the trombone, and that really just breathing is a really good way to start your playing. So that's really how I learned how to breathe and how I use breathing every day. But now let me talk about the importance of breathing and air. So as James Markey said it, a buzz with no air is nothing, or air with no buzz is also nothing. You know, you can do both, but you need both to work simultaneously. And I feel like us as brass players spend a lot of time playing, and that's really good to get used to, you know, buzzing, all of that, and how the instrument feels on our face. But we never really get used to the air concept about it, so it gets really hard for us in some registers to get around it, because we're not used to the air that we need to do there, because we don't practice it. And I feel like it affects our tone overall, because we're not using our air efficiently. And what I mean by efficient air is having air that you can use across all the registers that aren't really making any flubs or any noise in between the sound. And yeah, part of that comes from your buzzing, but I feel like a lot of it comes from breathing. So for example, those slurs have gotten a lot easier over time the more I get better at breathing, and obviously the more I play. But let me do that without taking a proper breath. You know, even there, not even taking a proper breath, it's just, it felt really dull. It was hard to play, did not feel comfortable, just not enjoyable. I think breathing every day is also a good way to experiment with vowel shapes. A, E, I, O, and U. I know Jim Markey, I think, likes to use ah, because that's what you say at the doctor. Ah. And I feel like a lot of us are taught to use O. And I don't think either one is wrong. I just feel like some things work for some people and some things work for other people. So it's really important that in your morning breathing and stretching, you're figuring out what works best for you, because there's some things that may work for you that do not work for others. So it's good that you take the time to experiment away from the horn, because you don't want to cause any really weird physical problems because you're not using your air properly, or you're experimenting with how you breathe and it's affecting your playing. I think breathing and air is the most important thing that isn't really related to trombone. I feel like just having good breath support is good for your health overall. And you know, sometimes you can do running or cardio related things to help with that, but just learning how to breathe properly is really important overall. And I feel like it's the one thing that I think as young musicians we reject or don't really focus on, because we feel like, oh, it's good enough because, you know, you never really needed, or you never felt the need to have better air usage. But I feel like everyone can use better air usage. So hope this was helpful.